Dr. Hmad Benaissa, I greet you warmly. Would you kindly respond with a brief greeting? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Samah. Honored Dr. Samah Hida, distinguished speakers, Dr. Dua Amran, Dr. Bitlisam Haddaji, Professor Riham Eid Mahmoud, Professor Mohammed Haddawi, Professor Mohammed Mutalia, Professor Belqasmi Firdaus, esteemed colleagues and dear participants. Good evening and welcome to this international conference on publishing, scientific research, ethics and challenges organized by the Linguistics Research and Language Planning team at Bitlisaniyat International Academy in Turkey. I'm grateful to the Academy's leadership that is supporting these initiatives, mainly while organizing scientific events in English. Thanks also go to all participants in this event, including the coordinating team, the organizing team, and the technical team as well. So, let's say, could you please share with us some clear examples of using artificial intelligence as a supporter, not as a researcher? To our speakers, Dr. Dua and Dr. Riham, could you provide an example of how to use artificial intelligence to support research, not to make the research instead of the research?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In both an honor and pleasure to welcome you to this international academic event organized by the Linguistic Research and Language Planning team at Bitlisaniyat International Academy, Turkey. The title of our conference today is Publishing Scientific Research, Ethical and Challenges, a timely and highly relevant topic, especially in the today's quickly evolved academic landscape. Before we begin, I would like to extend my deepest thanks and appreciation to Bitlisaniyat International Academy for organizing this valuable event. Special gratitude goes to Professor Dr. Marwan Sakran, the President of the Academy, for his leadership and academic advice. I would also like to sincerely thank the Linguistic Research team under the supervision of Professor Dr. Abdelkader Bentwati for their great efforts in supporting linguistic research and helping to spread useful scientific knowledge. Equally, I extend warm thanks to others, coordinators, and supporting members in the program. Special thanks to Dr. Safia Kassas, Vice President of the Academy, for her kind support, Dr. Yassin Al-Idrisi, Executive Director of the Academy, for overseeing communication and coordination, and Dr. Sukaina Albaz for technical support. Your efforts are truly appreciated. I wish to express my deep and personal appreciation to Dr. Hmad Benaissa, not only for his outstanding effort and leadership in organizing this important event, but also for his ongoing dedication to advising high-impact academic exchange. Dr. Hmad Benaissa, I greet you warmly. Would you kindly respond with a brief greeting? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Samah. Honored Dr. Samah Hida, distinguished speakers, Dr. Dua Amran, Dr. Bitlisam Haddaji, Professor Riham Eid Mahmoud, Professor Mohammed Haddawi, Professor Muhammad Mutalia, Professor Baqasmi Firdaus, esteemed colleagues, and dear participants. Good evening, and welcome to this international conference on publishing, scientific research, ethics, and challenges, organized by the Linguistics Research and Language Planning team at Bitlisaniyat International Academy in Turkey. I'm grateful to the Academy's leadership that is supporting these initiatives, mainly while organizing scientific events in English. Thanks also go to all participants in this event, including the coordinating team, the organizing team, and the technical team as well. So the floor is yours, Dr. Samah.
Thank you, my dear. It's a truly pleasure to share this platform with you, Dr. Hmad. Now let us begin with our first three speakers in this conference. Our first speaker is Dr. Dua Omran from English department at the University of New Mexico, USA, where she also received her MA and PhD. Her research focuses on culture and literary in countries between the East and the West, with a particular interest in female figures in religious and medieval texts. She has co-edited several volumes on Muslim women writers and published over 15 academic articles and book chapters with respected publishers such as Rutgers University Press. Her presentation today is titled Publishing with Integrity, Ethical Challenges, and Institutional Responsibility. We are honored to have here with us Dr. Dua Omran. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samah, for this kind presentation. And I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Hmad Benaissa, who invited me to give this talk, and of course to Bitlisaniyat Academy. And good morning, USA time, and good afternoon, Middle Eastern, different time zones. So I'm going to talk today about, as my title says, publishing with integrity, ethical challenges, and institutional responsibility. So this is like the outline of my talk. I hope I don't go over my time. I'm going to talk about the Research Integrity Risk Index, which came out only last month, and plagiarism detection tools, and what are the practices in the American and European systems to deter such horrible practices of plagiarism. I'm going to talk about COME, which is the Committee on Publication Ethics, and retraction letters. So maybe to define integrity, it is what you thought, what you said, and what you did are all the same. I would also add to this, and also what you write or what you wrote. The whole story, because I did experience, I was victim, I fell victim to that, unaware, because somebody gave me plagiarized work. But I'll come to this in a little bit. So it started with me editing and publishing 2 books with Routledge, Muslim Memory, Voice, and Identity, Muslim Women's Writing from Across the Middle East. And then later on, so this came out in 2021, and then in 2022, we have Muslim Women's Writing in South and Southeast Asia. So because of my work, I did present also about the book in the MLA. We had a panel at the Model Language Association, and we got an invitation, Dr. Firoza Jaswalam and we got an invitation from Women's Studies and Interdisciplinary Journal, and it is a journal published by Routledge to do a special issue for their 51st, or was it their 50th anniversary? And they wanted to do a topic they haven't done at all before, and to do it on Muslim women speaking persistently, which was also the topic of our MLA panel. So I did solicit abstracts from people. from Egypt and other Muslim countries and so forth. And unfortunately, one of the contributors, she was an assistant professor back then, she gave me a plagiarized article. It was well written, I didn't doubt it, and the journal didn't doubt anything, and the special issue got published. The article got published, and we weren't aware of what was going on. And after a few months, almost 15 months actually of its publication, the article got a retraction letter. Of course, this was caused incremental damage to me, to my co-editor, to the journal, to the person from whom the article was cheated from, because she did cheat it from a PhD dissertation, published in the USA. And the special issue never got printed out, of course, because of the plagiarized and retracted article. We didn't know. We discovered the retraction 15 months later, and we weren't aware what was going on. So actually, now, especially now, with the rise of internet and AI, it's easier to commit academic fraud, because earlier people were cheating from people. Now there are lots of people cheating from from AI and from technology. And so now also, these acts of fraud are more easily detected now with the technology we have. But what are universities in the Middle East and the MENA region and North Africa and the Global South, what are they doing about it? Because as I'll be showing you, in the US, it's very different, and in Europe, it's very different. So how can we start thinking about measures that we can implement to deter such horrible actions of plagiarism? So the Research Integrity Risk Index, RI to the power 2, came out last month, and it was developed by a professor in Beirut, in the American University of Beirut, Dr. Lokman Miho, and he created this index based on two factors: the high number of retraction letters per university and frequent submissions to predatory journals per university. So it was created. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It was created, of course, in response to growing concerns about how global university rankings incentivize volume and citation-based publishing at the expense of scholarly integrity. That's the definition on the website. But the thing is, actually, because earlier it was based on, we thought if universities are producing a huge numbers of papers every year, then this is great and they're doing fine. But it's not really about the number of papers produced every year per university, but how many of them are of high quality, how many of them are not plagiarized, and so forth. So I don't know if I can show you a page online. Would you still see it? Can you see this page of the, or you are still seeing my slides?
No, we see just the slides.
Okay, yeah. All right. So we'll go with that. So the index divides universities into 5 categories or 5 ranks. The red flag, the high risk, the watch list, normal variation, and the low risk. Unfortunately, most of the universities in the Middle East, Arabic countries, India, China, they are in the red and the orange regions. Some are in the yellow watch list. And when we look at European and American universities in the ranking, they are in the green normal variation and the low risk areas. So actually somehow, as Arabic or Arab universities and Middle Eastern universities, we are ranking highest in plagiarism. And I just came across this post, which made me really laugh. So now with the plagiarism detection tools such as Turnitin and AIinAcademia, how are we using them as we should be using them? So in the US, we use a platform for our teaching called Canvas, and you'll have Turnitin embedded on that platform. Of course, this costs a lot of money, but at least students, since they are undergraduates, they are taught, they are trained not to plagiarize. AIinAcademia, on the other hand, is used more with research, like graduate and postgraduate and professional researchers. These two tools, AIinAcademia and Turnitin, were initiated in 1998, 2004, respectively. So like 20-something years ago, not more than this. And many universities in our region, unfortunately, are not using them as they should, or frequently as they they should be implemented more in our educational systems and institutions. So, for example, in the US, where I was educated, where I was how is it working there? They have a stronger culture of accountability and preventive measures, and they have clearer protocols for plagiarism, authorships, and ethical publishing. And there is emphasis on education and training in research ethics. That's why it explains why they would fall in the green and white areas, okay? So in these countries, as I said, there is also international standards that they follow, such as COPE, which is Committee on Publication Ethics. And I cannot talk about all three for time restraints, so I'm gonna focus on COPE, and ORI, Office of Research Integrity. So this is like integrity and ethical measures for publications that journals such as those in Taylor and Francis and so forth would be following them. And this is what makes them Scopus indexed, because there are ethical measures followed in these places, institutions, and organizations, okay? They do publish retractions, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit in more detail, and they issue formal institutional statements or apologies whenever fraud happens, because fraud can happen, plagiarism can always happen, but how are we going to respond to it? Are we going to mop it under the carpet and put the carpet again as if nothing happened? Are we going to put our heads and necks in the sand as if nothing happened, or do we need to respond to that? Are we going to say, oh, this person has already been promoted to full professor, what are we going to do to them? Or are we going to, even if they were promoted, we can always retract and take the degree back from them? They do have measures for demotion, suspension, and dismissal, loss of funding, and editorial roles. So COPE, or Committee on Publication Ethics, is a booklet, like you can actually Google it, because I cannot show you the web page. But if you Google it, they have measures, okay? And they do offer non-binding but widely respected ethical guidelines. And we can use them in our region as a model for universities, and how we can deal with such incidents of plagiarism, okay? And COPE encourages transparency, corrections, and fair peer review. So it's basically, in short, COPE is like their law for publications, okay? So how are we going to deal with plagiarism? Fabrication, all right? What about redundant publications? Because I've seen this, or actually in that incident, with reference to the incident I referred to in the beginning, they published a book chapter, and then took the book chapter and published in a journal, published the book chapter, changed little things here and there, and published it in a journal. All right. What about authorship? What would you do about someone who sends you an email complaining that their work has plagiarized? How would your university react to this? How would your department react to this? Would they ignore the email, or would they respond to it? Would they take meaningful action or not? So COPE basically was founded in the UK in 1997. Over 1,300 journals and publishers worldwide, including Elsevier, Springer, Wiley, Taylor and Francis, and many other university presses, use that code to support editors and publishers in handling publication ethical issues that has to do with transparency and consistency. Sometimes when you publish a journal with an article, they would require you to sign a paper or like a contract or some kind of document telling you or requiring you to make sure that you are abiding by the COPE principles and so forth. I have a COPE document here. I can share it in the chat later on, and this is like these journals, when they retract your article, they would go to the plagiarized article. They won't just remove a plagiarized article. If somebody emails them, or they become eventually aware that they published cheated work, because we can all fall prey to this, but how are we going to respond? They would publish a letter of retraction saying that this work was taken from the work of that person, which was, for example, this is what happened in the case of that person. The article was retracted because there was sincere overlap or serious overlap with her work with the work of that other person. And then they would say the title of the dissertation, and the dissertation was awarded in that time from that university, and they would issue a retraction letter, and the old article or the plagiarized article would have the word retracted as a watermark diagonally on all pages of the article. All right, so it's not just removing the cheated article, but giving a retraction letter and doing the retracted watermark across all pages of the article. Of course, this helps build institutional credibility and trust in scholarship, and it is a rectifying measure. And it's an accountability measure as well. So why issue retraction letters? Why not just remove the cheated article? Why have the letter? Because we can simply remove the cheated article from the website and that's it. But the idea behind retraction letters and the watermark of the word retracted on the article is it serves as an important ethical and academic purpose. They maintain transparency of scholarly record, and they provide an official explanation and help prevent future misuse of or citation of invalid work. So this is, and people would be afraid to engage in such dishonest actions, because they would get a retraction letter like this. So I would really, and I've been trying to do this over the last year, I would, since I discovered the retraction of that letter in my special issue, we need to call to action, and we should adopt the RI2 and COPE guidelines in our universities, and we should implement training programs for ethical publishing, and definitely we need to use available technology for routine integrity checks and treat ethical publishing as a collective responsibility. And I would conclude that I would conclude with Sophocles here, that it's better to fail with honor than to succeed by fraud. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Dua, for this insightful, rational presentation.
Thank you.
I see that Dr. Samah has some technical problems. So now let's move to the second speaker, which is Dr. Ibtisam Hadbaji. It seems that she also faces some technical problems. So let's move to the third speaker, Professor Rihan.
Yes.
Please just introduce yourself and start your presentation.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Rihan Hmad. I am a PhD researcher in Cairo University in Egypt. Today, I'm going to talk about the IB obstacles and the policy requirements. I consider that we are in the era of AI revolution, and as most of our generation are not digital natives, I think some questions are worthy to be asked to ourselves. Let's see the list of the questions that we're going to tackle today. The second slide, please.
Sure.
The first question, I'm totally convinced that it's not about the right answer, but about posing the right questions. So the presentation goes in sequence of questions in order to figure out the features of the policy that manages the ethics and the challenges of scientific research publishing. The first question, what are the research ethics that decline while using tools, AI tools? The second question, do you hear me well?
Yeah, your voice is clear.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. Your voice is...
Okay. The second question, how can a researcher use... Do you hear me well now?
Yes, sure.
Hello? Okay, about the second question, how can a researcher use AI tools without violating academic integrity? The third question, what challenges does the AI user researcher face? And the fourth one, what challenges does the AI user researcher supervisor face? Why is AI policy necessary for academic research ethics nowadays? The fifth question, what are the expected features of the policy for scientific research? And the last question, do academic AI tools consider ethics more than ordinary ones? About the first question, which is what are the research ethics that decline while using AI tools? It's about main 2 points. The first one about the academic integrity, and the second one about the data transparency. I think that the ability of the researcher to keep away of plagiarism and be stuck to the academic integrity while it's appealing to press a button and all possible information is in hand. This is the first ethic. Moreover, the research paper is exposure to data fabrication, since some AI tools provide details that don't almost suit the research context. This is about the first question. About the second one, how can a researcher use AI tools without violating academic integrity? Some foundations already set a policy for the academic integrity for using AI and put terms for what is accepted and what is not accepted in the AI practices. While some other foundations are not about putting a real policy or clear policy for using the AI. The researcher should respect his institution policy about the cases of using AI, such as grammar check or drawing a conclusion in a certain word count, not to use AI as a creator, but only as an aid that keeps the paper quality. About the third question, what challenges does the AI user researcher face? It's about the accuracy of the data that the AI provided and the skills erosion. And this is an important, crucial point about the skills that they erode all the time while AI user just keep searching by pressing just one button and get all the information that he needs. So he loses many skills like critical thinking skills, analytical reading. The data privacy, because some information that is provided doesn't have the agreement of the author to be published, so he meets the privacy terms. Um, this is about the challenges meet the researcher. Now about the supervisor. And as a researcher, I think that there is a burden over the supervisor's shoulders nowadays in order to classify just to see which information that is brought by a real researcher and what is brought by the AI. Since we have everyday updates for in the AI field, and some AI tools are just made in order to imitate right, in order not to be revealed by the one who provides the feedback for. So I think that it's about adapting to rapid AI technological changes for the supervisor, and ensuring that the research has integrity and preventing misconduct. Moreover, maintaining mentorship and skills development by providing the researcher by real constructive feedback. The first question about, respectively, about after the question that are posed before, I think that it's worth now to ask why is AI policy necessary for each institution, academic institution that conduct academic research. Number one, to stop fake researches before it starts. Number two, to keep private data safe and fight hidden AI bias, safe critical thinking skills, clear rules, and protect the reputation of this institution. Since a reputable universities are just exposure to be invaded by the AI tools that is appealed by the researchers nowadays. Um, Kindly just show the chart in the eighth slide. Yes, thank you. For the sixth question, what are the expected features of this policy for scientific research? I got this chart from the site, the U.S. Government Accountability Office, and I found it just includes most of the aspects that the imaginary policy might have include. We can see that it's divided into the upper part, which is in blue, and the lower part, which is in red. The blue part represents the system practices, and the red part down represents the left on the upper part. And let's start with the icon that refers to devices. It's incentivizing data sharing, and that means preventing sharing data for intellectual property. Here, the practice of the system itself to just to keep the ethics of using the AI tools. The system can prevent the sharing data for intellectual property. For the second icon, which is represented in a look and right click, improving safety and security, providing safe sharing between users. As a researcher, I look forward to having the the safety in sharing my work with my supervisor or on the volume, not to worry about if it's be shared by somebody I don't want. So improving safety and security is something that is should be provided on the system, whether the inner one or the external one. The third icon, updating the regulatory approach, and it means reducing the regulation burden for keeping the focus on the content quality. And the last icon in the blue area, which is assessing acceptable risks and ethical decision making, which means providing benchmarking for top-notch information, to have levels of information and what is trusted and can be utilized, and what can be banned of any academic research. For the lower part, which is the research areas, it's something that is worthy to be tackled by the research field. Let's start from the complex and explainable AI. Providing a guideline, it means providing a guideline for the researcher to learn exactly what he should follow to keep his own and the others' intellectual property, by understanding the AI system procedures to establish trust in the future behavior of the system. The next icon in the red area, understanding AI's effect on jobs and training, and it explains itself. About the third icon, which is developing high quality labeled data, it means providing adequate data instead in order to reduce bias. And the last icon that in the red area, which is establishing regulatory sandboxes, and it means developing mechanisms for testing new AI tools accuracy. This about the question number 6. And the last question in this intervention today is, do academic AI tools consider ethics more than ordinary ones? If I just get stuck to academic AI tool, it has a guarantee to use it safely. Actually, it's yes, but with major gaps. Academic AI tools are designed with stricter ethical safeguards than consumer tools like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and so on. But significant risks remain. It doesn't mean that they are 100% safe, especially when researchers misuse them or rely on poorly regulated platforms. So there is a role that the academic researcher should have in just seeking what AI tool he used to just to organize his work, and is just this is the end of this intervention. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Raham. Dr. Raham Eid Mahmoud is a PhD researcher in curriculum and methodology at the English Department, Cairo University. In addition, she is an experienced IB English language and literature teacher and examiner, and she is also serves as an MIP personal project coordinator. The title of her presentation was AI Obstacles and Policy Requirements in Scientific Publishing. Thank you again very much, Dr. Raham Eid Mahmoud, for your insightful and timely presentation. We truly appreciate your clear explanation and the important point you raised. So Dr. Raham highlighted how
you're
AI...
welcome, Dr. Samah. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Raham highlighted how AI is becoming an essential part of modern scientific research. While AI can support the research process, it also raises serious ethical concerns that may affect the honesty of the academic work. She stressed the importance of creating clear policies to guide how AI should be used in research. Such policies are essential to protect academic integrity and ensure that scientific publishing remains ethical and trustworthy. Thank you. And let me go back to Dr. Dua, our first speaker, because I have a problem on the internet. So our first speaker, Dr. Dua, I want to thank you so much for your rich and important presentation. Dr. Dua spoke about the risks of unethical publishing in the digital and AI age. She explained how tools like Turnitin can detect plagiarism and how to research integrity risk index RI squared shows growing concerns in many universities, especially in the Arab world. So she also talked about the lack of strong policies in some universities and suggested learning from the American system, which uses the clear guidelines to promote ethical publishing and prevent academic fraud. As a lecturer at an American university, I confirm what you mentioned about the American universities rejecting plagiarism. Thank you again, Dr. Dua. And now we move on to...
Thank you.
Thank you. We will move to Dr. Ibtisam Haddaji. Is she here? Dr. Ibtisam? Is Dr. Ibtisam with us now, Dr. Hmad? Dr. Hmad? Can you hear me? Yeah, our second speaker is Dr. Ibtisam Haddaji. Are you here, Dr. Ibtisam?
Sorry, Dr. Samah. I think
she is not with... Yes.
Dr. Ibtisam has some technical issues. I have been talking to her, but
Okay.
she can't be internet.
No problem. So before we continue, I would like to certainly thank all the speakers in the first part of our conference for their valuable contributions and rich insights. Your presentations have laid a strong foundation for the rest of today's discussions. At this point, it's my pleasure to hand over the moderation of the remaining sessions to my esteemed colleague, Dr. Hmad Benaissa, whose leadership and experience will continue to enrich this academic event. Over to you, Dr. Hmad.
Thank you, Dr. Samah, for your collaboration and your coordination of this international conference. Yes, now we have Dr. Ibtisam here. It is so, Dr. Samah, you can just try to.
Okay,
present.
I will introduce. Yeah, okay.
Just a few minutes. Dr. Ibtisam, do you hear us? She is getting into. Welcome, Dr. Ibtisam. Dr. Ibtisam, do you hear? Dr. Ibtisam, we see you now, but it's...
Yes, I can see her. Okay.
Dr. Dr. Ibtisam.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
No, yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
Yeah,
Your voice.
it's okay. So our second speaker is Dr. Ibtisam Haddaji. Okay, a doctoral researcher in culture and heritage and tourism at the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, Qadi Ayyad University in Morocco. Dr. Haddaji has taught English and soft skills at the university level and participated in several national and international academic events. Her research focuses on religious tourism, cultural heritage, and intercultural dialogue. And she has published articles in various peer reviewed journals. She will deliver a presentation today titled Writing and Publishing a Scientific Article. We are pleased to welcome you here, Dr. Ibtisam Haddaji. The floor is yours.
Ibtisam Haddaji, it seems that she has some issues in the internet because
Yeah, the internet.
yeah, but she is with us in the platform. I'm just waiting because the connection is low.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just will give her a few minutes. If the problems continue, we will move to the discussion of the questions that our the participants have raised in the chat.
It's okay. It's okay.
Dr. Ibtisam, it seems that you have some issues in the internet. You can turn off the cam and just use the mic because the connection is very low.
Yeah.
Dr. Ibtisam, so let's move to the questions until Dr. Ibtisam returns. We have a question that is that says, could you please share with us some clear examples of using artificial intelligence as a supporter, not as a researcher? To our speakers, Dr. Dua and Dr. Rihan, could you provide an example of how to use artificial intelligence to support research, not to make the research instead of the researcher? Dr. Rihan and Dr. Dua, could you give an example of any one of the participants? You can just enrich the discussion.
Yeah, I can. What I do is...
Yes, I hear you. Sorry, what's the question again?
Yeah, Dr. Riham can go first and then I can go after her.
Yes, okay. Dr. Riham?
Sorry, Dr. Hmad, I didn't catch the question yet.
Yeah, the question says that could you please share with us some clear examples of using artificial intelligence to support the researcher, not to do the research instead of the researcher?
Okay, I mentioned in my presentation that I'm not a digital native, so the AI was something that about. As an academic researcher, I found out that there is a policy that is provided by the IB, which measures what is accepted of using the AI, using grammar correction or just drawing a conclusion of information that is provided by the researcher himself. Not to rely on the AI as a content creator, to rely on the information that he provides without revision.
more policies that are put by the IB in order to clarify exactly and in which case the AI is accepted to be used. This is a first example. The second example, as a researcher, I just found that the AI provides general um, results for a keyword, and it doesn't suit the context. In order to be accurate in using the AI, you should provide him with the strict delimitations in order to get the right answer. And it doesn't stop here. You should revise a citation of the AI because sometimes it provides you with the acceptable form of reference. But when you search for this reference, it's full of falsification and it's not reliable or valid at all. That's the example that comes up to my mind now.
Thank you, Dr. Riham. Dr. Dua Omran.
Yeah, I think one of the ways that I have used, you can just ask AI, can you please find for me references on this and that? Can you find English and Arabic references? Because I do most of my research is in the comparative literature area. So I do English literature and Arabic. So can you find examples so that it can give you like lists of books? One way that I use AI for, you can ask AI to do MLA citations for you. So things to save time. You can ask them questions, and just like I think like one of the good ways to use AI is like having a conversation with someone. But to let them write the paper for you, this is another thing. And even like sometimes I feel like when students are using AI, I feel the paper is very mechanical. But there are tools nowadays that would humanize the voice for you. But of course, I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. But I say I use AI as if AI is my research assistant. You know how when you have a graduate student assistant or a research assistant, an RA, so it is your just go find that reference for me. Were there books on that? So it's basically like using Google, but having a conversation with Google Scholar or MLA bibliography, for example, to find references for you. Sometimes I ask AI one last thing to transliterate English, Arabic titles into English to make life, instead of putting all these, the long A, the long I, so AI would do it for you. So just like use it as your genie in Aladdin's lamp, but not more.
Thank you, Dr. Dua. Thank you, Dr. Riham, for narration the discussion. Thank you, Dr. Dua, for accepting our invitation, even while there is a huge difference in time, because now it is the morning in the USA, but here in Morocco or in Egypt or in Algeria, we are in the evening. You mentioned, yeah, here is a question for you. With artificial intelligence generated content becoming more sophisticated, do you think that current plagiarism detections tools are sufficient to address emerging forms of academic fraud?
I think so, to some extent.
Yeah.
I think the tools that we have would detect because the incident I was talking about, that person was plagiarizing, and actually most of her papers she did, like she has 2 retraction letters so far, a third one on the way. She was using plagiarizing from dissertations. So this is something Turnitin and AIinAcademia can easily spot. But if you are doing the whole paper with AI, this is like another. And actually, there are journals now when you publish an article with them, in your references, you need to admit that you are not using AI. Or, and I know this from, this happened with one of, with my friends. She wrote a paper, but she used AI for more than 30%. The publisher returned her article and told her AI use shouldn't be over 30% in your paper. So now, we all use it, but it has to be admitted. It has to be cited somehow.
Indeed, thank you, Dr. Dua, for mentioning or sharing with us the experience that you had with this plagiarism and this the reactions that the publishers did. So you mentioned the retraction letters as a deterrent, but some people argues that this may be very hard penalizing for the researcher, mainly early career researchers. This may lead to stop the career of that researcher. Don't you think that they could use different? They could treat this problem differently.
I think since the paper is published online and anybody can take from it, so the retraction letter needs to be also online.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what happened with the people whose work was copied from. They were graduate students here in the US and in Europe, and so like graduate students here and in Europe. How would these graduate students feel when they spend 3 or 4 or 5 years writing their dissertations and they find that there is a whole chapter from their dissertation is just taken by the percentage of 60%, and another chapter was taken from the same person, plagiarized by 95%. So like 2 chapters from the same dissertation were plagiarized, one published in the US and one published in an Arabic country. How would that student feel when their work is just like lifted like that and published by someone else and they took credit for it? Another student also that whose work was plagiarized, he told me that he was gonna turn his chapter into, or parts of his dissertation into a book, and that person plagiarized from him, and now he is like into copyright problems, because the paper that was cheated was published earlier than he is gonna publish his book at an earlier date when he's publishing his book. So it's like the penalty is big. I'm not saying no, but how would these people whose work is taken feel about it? How would I feel as an editor when my special issue was not published? How would all the people who contributed to the special issue feel that the special issue was not published? And now we are trying to republish the special issue into a book. You see, like, take these articles from the special issue, publish them into a book. And we asked actually the original author of the article to give us a chapter to replace the plagiarized one. So it's like sometimes people plagiarize and feel like they are helping the get promoted, but when you come to it, a lot of damage happens to a group of other people, the publishers, the editors. And you know what? Actually, I knew from the journal that they also got into problems for this. So think of journals, think of editors, think of the person whose work was taken. So, and like, how would you, like the person who asked this question, thank you for asking it, but what would be the alternative? If the work is published online, you need to counter that with a retraction letter also published online, to tell people, don't copy from this article. This is the original work. If you want to cite from the original work, not from the plagiarized one. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Da, for this explanation and for sharing with us ideas from your experience as a peer reviewer and an editor. Thank you so much. I think we don't have more questions for the two first speakers. So now we can move to the second panel, and we will start with Professor Mohammed Haddawi. It is a pleasure to welcome you again and to have you with us here in Bitlisaniyat Academy. Professor Mohammed Haddawi, a didactic scholar and educator whose work brings academia and real-world language instruction. Currently a PhD student in applied linguistics at the University of Moulay Ismail. He brings over 2 decades of teaching experience in Moroccan public schools, combined with his role as a part-time assistant professor. His research including publications on stress coping mechanisms among PhD students and intercultural competence in EFL classrooms. This reflects his deep engagement with both practical and ethical dimensions of language education. He has also some expertise with publishing articles. Today, he will explore ethical concerns in peer review with publishing insights from literature, offering a structured examination of the foundational role of morals and ethics in scholarship, critical concerns among peer review with stakeholders, and pragmatic step towards systematic improvement. So join us for the talk. So the floor is yours, Mr. Professor Mohammed Haddawi.
Thank you, Si Hmad Benaissa, for your introduction. Hello, dear fellow presenters and panelists, esteemed audience from MENA region and all over the world. Special and warm greetings to all of you. I'm really honored and thrilled to be part of this discussion, to be able to share with you some insights from literature on ethical considerations in scientific peer review publishing. I'd also like to extend my thanks to Bitlisaniyat Academy staff for their continuous encouragement and for the great work they are doing. This is benefiting researchers from all over the world. Thank you twice and again. Well, my presentation is entitled Ethical Concerns in Peer Review, Insights from Literature. I'd like first to let you know about the outline of my presentation. I'll start by introducing the topic by providing a quote, a famous quote on peer reviewing. Then I'll talk about ethics, try to draw demarcation line between morals and ethics before moving to the merits or advantages of peer review. And afterwards, I'll try to delve into ethical considerations among the stakeholders, mainly among authors, editors, and peer reviewers. After that, I'll wrap up my discussion or my presentation with some suggestions on how to improve and bolster, ethical practices in peer review in general. So let's start with this quote, which says, "Peer review is the method by which grants are allocated, papers published, academics promoted, and Nobel Prizes won. Yet it is hard to define, harder still to measure, and peer review is very existence is under attack." So this quote defines peer review as a method, as a way, as a strategy by which or whereby grants, scholarships are given or allocated to those who provide solid studies, and this is proven by peer reviewing. Papers published. So papers cannot be published until they are peer reviewed. So peer reviewers act as a quality assurance mechanism because they need papers need to be validated and made credible, and their credibility could only attained by a member or members, of peer reviewers. Then we have this idea of Nobel Prizes are won. So awards and prizes are given to outstanding scholars, and outstanding scholars are known by their publications. So if the publications are high quality, the author may get an award or a prize for their great work. Yes, on the other hand, the quote says that it's hard to define, peer reviewing, so has been given many definitions like any concept in literature, linguistics in general, concepts are not easy to define. Sometimes you come across a panoply or a myriad of definitions, and with subtle sometimes and big differences in other times. Also, we have this idea of measurability. So so peer reviewing in human sciences, it's not easy to quantify things, to measure things. And also we have this idea of review. Peer review is under attack. So it's central to publishing. It's central to research, but it comes under attack because of fraudulent practices, of misconduct, and practices which are basically unethical. So it is a method and it is a process that starts by submitting a manuscript by the author to an editor, who initially assesses and evaluates the manuscript before deciding to share it with peer reviewers and independent peer reviewers to provide opinions, written opinions or reports on it, and then decide upon that to publish it or reject it, publish it after revision or reject it. So the decision is taken by the editor, but after, they get insights, critical reports from peer reviewers. So this peer review, which is a method and a process, has a panoply of merits or advantages. The first of which is ensuring quality and validity. So as I said before, peer reviewing seeks to improve the quality of work, of manuscripts, articles, and studies, and validate them. Second, we have this idea of credibility. It's the peer reviewers' work which makes the manuscripts or articles, the studies, credible and trustworthy. Without this credibility and trustworthy, the work would be one of low or poor quality. Also, we got this idea of academic recognition. So it is another merit of peer reviewing. So it helps authors get a good reputation and advance their careers. Also, we have this idea of progress, scientific progress and research in general. So we should not forget that peer review functions as a driver for scientific advancement. Another advantage also is, global excellence relies on peer reviewing. So without it, it would be, hard, to achieve high standards, because peer reviewers, act as a benchmark, as a standard for good research practices. And finally, here on the list, we've got, peer reviewing. So it encourages ethical practices among researchers community. So this idea of ethics in science, is very central. So we've got a quote from Nenia Campbell. She says that without ethics, science would be a cruelty. So let's take, for example, research and the involvement or the use of animals in research. So the scientific community has to have ethics. So very important. So ethics are regarded here as a cornerstone in research. So without ethics, research would be of poor quality, would not credible, not valid, and so on and so forth. But let us draw a demarcation line between morals and ethics, because some people confuse both concepts. So morals are, what shape our personal beliefs. They are internal. They are the core principles we have. Each one of us got his or her principles or morals that are shaped by culture, by religion. So the morals are kind of personal, internal. And we have ethics. Ethics are defined as, in literature, as kind of systematic frameworks. So they are rules of behavior or conduct. They are external, they are communal. So we talk about ethics when communities are involved, or societies. So in every community, we got some sort of ethics, some sort of standards that every member of this community should abide by. So here we are talking in this presentation. I'm talking about ethics, but I just wanted to make a distinction between both terms. So in this presentation, I'll focus on the main stakeholders in peer review, and I'll talk about ethical considerations among authors, editors, and peer reviewers. So authorship is defined or has been defined as this. Sorry. There is no universally agreed on definition of authorship, although attempts have been made. as a minimum, authors should take responsibility for a particular section of the study. So this is according to COPE. I think the first presenter, I think Dua Umran, mentioned this when she talked about COPE, Committee on Public Ethics. So it is a booklet, it is a kind of a Bible for ethics for the research community. So we have this idea of responsibility for some part of a study. So this is a definition for authorship, and the idea also alludes to having different definitions. So for ethical concerns in peer review among authors, the first one is plagiarism and self-plagiarism. So in the first panel, there was talk about plagiarism and self-plagiarism, mainly about plagiarism in the era of AI. So plagiarism is copying from others without using the reference or without paying credit. And self-plagiarism is copying from your own work without mentioning that. Of course, plagiarism has always been there, but now in the era of AI, it has exacerbated, an access to the internet worldwide, and AI chatbots made it easy to plagiarize, to steal from others. The second concern is about data fabrication and falsification. So, of course, some authors may resort to fabricating data and falsifying, data or and findings, to make things easy for them, or just to move in a given direction. Also, we have misconduct. So when it comes to ghost and guest authorship, we have this ghost authorship, which refers to the idea that some people do some work or parts of the work, but they are denied, authorship for some reason or the other. And we have guest authorship, is including names of people who didn't do anything at all, for some reason or the other. So such practices are prevalent in many societies and communities, including, of course, the MENA region. It's almost everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It's kind of a common practice. Let's call things with their names as they are. So another issue or problem is citation manipulation. We've got this idea of excessive self-citation. So some people are too full of themselves, and they just want to gain some reputation and academic reputation and become famous or attain some goal, like promotion and so on and so forth. So, and the last one is predatory publishing. So also this is a major problem and an ethical concern among researchers. So novice researchers, for example, find it difficult sometimes to distinguish between predatory journals and other journals which are not predatory. So some journals prey on the people who do not know. And they provide poor and low quality publishing. Their interest, of course, is getting money and having advantage on this category of people that I called novice or beginner in the field. So the second main stakeholders is editors. So an editor is defined as a person responsible for the content, quality, and integrity of a scholarly publication. Again, this definition is taken ad verbatim from COPE, Committee on Public Ethics. So issues related to editors are, again, this idea of citation manipulation, coercive. So editors may coerce, may kind of force or push in one way or another, authors to cite some sources. Also, we've got this idea of bias. So bias is always there among authors and editors. So citations could be selective or exclusionary. So with us or against us, this practice has always been there, and it will be always there somehow. So for some reason or the other, it is linked with morals, personal morals, with ethics in general. But when it comes to personal gains, personal objectives and goals of people, sometimes they become highly pragmatic and they don't care about morals or ethics or whatever. So they just want to get their goal and or achieve it, so to speak. Also, we have guest and honorary authorship exploitations. We have this idea which comes from compliments or trying to compliment some people for some reason or the other, either because you have some financial gains or some academic gains or some tribute to pay, and so on and so forth. Then we've got the third main stakeholder, which is peer reviewers. Peer reviewers are external, independent experts selected by editors to provide reports or written opinions. And of course, the main goal here, or the ultimate goal, is to improve, enhance, or bolster the study in general. So among the concerns when it comes to ethics is bias. So bias could be related to gender, could be related to belonging to some geographical part in the world, could be sometimes name, could be belonging to some part of the world, which is an issue that has to do with prejudice, with stereotyping, and so on and so forth. The second issue is breach of confidentiality. So, like, for example, sharing parts of the manuscript without asking permission from the author, which is flouting or an infringement of confidentiality. So this is a very serious thing. And also we got this conflict of interest. So conflict of interest has to do with reviewers' personal, financial, professional, or other biases. It could be, some sort of gain. To be gained upon the publication or the rejection of some work. So sometimes we've got this idea of delaying a competitor when someone is submitting a manuscript, an article, or a study, which is kind of similar to that of a study by a peer reviewer. So that peer reviewer may try to delay that paper for some time to gain advantage of that and be able to publish his before the one he was delaying. So we've got this idea of competition that can amount to unethical levels. Also, we got this, yes, as I said, deliberate delay. So it is an example of conflict of interest. And we have the last issue here is appropriate criticism and feedback. So authors seek appropriate insights, critical insights, appropriate feedback, because they want to improve their work. But sometimes some peer reviewers may not be able to provide an appropriate feedback for some reason or the other. It could be time, it could be some ethical issues, you never know. It could be a set of unethical practices or unethical behaviors among them. So before wrapping up this study, I'd like to suggest some ways for enhancing or bolstering ethics, or the observance of ethics in research in general. The first of which is to incentivize reviewers. So we know that most of reviewers don't get money for the work they do. So some monetary compensation would help and would encourage peer reviewers and make them somehow responsible for their work. So they need encouragement too. So we cannot deny that. Also, we have this idea of the employment of AI assisted screening, plagiarism, and you have and errors. We can use AI to help us with detecting plagiarism and errors. And of course, I said we can use it to help us. We cannot rely solely on AI. So AI can help with finding statistical errors, for example, or copied work, etc. But with issues like human reasoning, so we still need human beings to do the work. Also, we got this idea of streamlining or speeding up the process. So the process of peer reviewing is long. Sometimes it's very long, takes a long time. So when we have researchers who are waiting for their manuscripts or their studies or articles to be published, and sometimes they need it for promotion, or they need it to defend their thesis. So speeding up the process would help a lot. So would make the research robust and efficient. Also, minimizing or reducing bias in peer review. So here, suggest using Penelope AI. So because language is full of bias, right? It's not language actually; it's a human being's thinking which is full of bias. Sometimes it could be using it could be about gender, right? Masculine and feminine words when it comes to lexis. Sometimes it could be nouns referring to some category of people. Like, for example, when you say Eskimos, right? You should not use the word Eskimo in research, because people, the Eskimos don't like the word and they prefer Inuit. Same thing with Bedouins. Using a Bedouin instead of Arab is a biased language. Should say Arab, not Bedouin, because Bedouins refer. We want to talk about Bedouins. We should use nomad, and so on and so forth. So examples are many. So Then before the one before the last one is transparency and accountability. When there is transparency in the process and accountability, there, so the practice becomes kind of clear to people, the researchers in general benefit from it. So the last one is combating predatory journals, and here I suggest think, check, and submit.org. So if a researcher is novice, he or she can browse this website and learn a lot to separate, as they say, grain from chaff, journals, good journals from predatory ones, so as not to fall as a prey to such fraudulent practices. So to wrap up this presentation, I talked about peer reviewing as a method, as a process, which is prerequisite for publication. So it needs to be enhanced and promoted because it has numerous advantages and merits. And the triangular relationship between authors, editors, and peer reviewers need to be made solid or solidified with ethical practices from the part of authors, from part of editors, editorial boards, and peer reviewers. So, and at the end, I give some suggestions, on how to bolster the practice and make peer reviewing efficient, and make it as a practical tool to enhance research in general. Thank you for your attention. Back to you, Hmad.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Haddawi, for this great presentation and for sharing with us some ideas from your experience and your research. I see that Dr. Fitan still has some problems with the internet. She is with us. She is a distinguished scholar and educator whose interdisciplinary expertise bridges cultural heritage, religious tourism, and academic publishing. She holds holding a doctorate with the first class honors from Adayat University. Her groundbreaking research with the first class, her groundbreaking research on Jewish saints in Morocco has been recognized internationally, including through publications in journals like in international journals. With experience as a part-time English and soft skills instructor, Dr. Haddaji brings a unique perspective on effective communication in academia. So today she will share with her insights on writing and publishing a scientific article, drawn from her success in navigating multilingual publications, French, English, and Arabic, and interdisciplinary collaborations. So the platform, the floor is yours, Dr. Bitlisaniyat. Dr.
Thank you very much to introduce me. Professor Hmad. Good evening, dear professors, dear researchers. I'm sorry for this technical problem in time. So my presentation, it will be about writing and publishing scientific article. Do you see the screen?
No, we don't see. Do you have a PowerPoint presentation? Do you have a PowerPoint presentation, Dr. Sam? We can't see it. You can't just continue your speech.
My screen is seen for everyone, please.
No, we can't. We can't see the. No, we can't see your presentation because it's not in the platform. I think that the connection is low. You can just continue your presentation without sharing the PowerPoint.
Unless Dr. Ibtisam would like to email you her presentation, Dr. Hmad, and then you can show us the slides. Since her internet is low, if she can quickly, just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. It seems that Dr. Jisam still have this technical problem. Just minutes for a moment to reconnect with to our audience. You can share your questions in the live chat. To those researchers who want to participate with us in the upcoming lectures, you can connect with our social media platforms. For example, you can send emails to us or send messages to our Facebook page. Then we connect with you and help you to coordinate a lecture or a conference within Bitlisaniyat Academy. It seems that Dr. Ibtisam didn't get back, so now let's move to Mr. Mohammed Mutalia. Do you hear us? Mr. Mohammed, activate the mic. Mr. Mohammed Mutalia. Mr. Mutalia, thank you. So, okay, let's make one. Mr. Mohammed, do you hear me? Mr. Hiddawi, do you hear me? Yeah, I deactivate your mic, so you need to activate your mic, Mr. Hiddawi. It seems that you hear me, so yeah. So Professor Bilqasim Firdaus, are you there?
Good morning. Good evening. Do you hear me?
Good evening. Yeah,
yeah,
we hear
good
you.
evening. Okay, that's great.
Let me introduce you, then you can start your presentation. So,
all right.
We are pleased to have with us Bilqasim Firdaus, who is an emerging scholar whose unique interdisciplinary journey bridges applied linguistics with healthcare practices. Currently, she is pursuing her PhD in applied linguistics at Ibn Khaldun University in Algeria, I think, where her ranked among the top candidates in her field. Bilqasim brings a fresh perspective to academic research, informed by her role as a hospital hygienist. Her work reflects a deep commitment to exploring the intersection of language, society, and ethics, offering valuable insights into challenges of contemporary scholarships. So the floor is yours, Professor Bilqasim.
Thank you, Professor Hmad. So, assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today at this online conference of June 28th, 2025, hosted by Bitlisaniyat International Academy. And today I will present on the topic ethics and challenges in peer review scientific publishing. And we will start by a small introduction about the topic. The scientific publishing enterprise relies strongly on ethics of a scientific community. The editors and reviewers of scholarly journals try to do their best to identify areas of concern when reviewing a paper for publication. But they, as much as anyone, are not immune to bias. So, with tremendous pressure on researchers to publish and huge competition to have papers accepted by high-impact journals, scientific fraud is on the rise. And before we will move to talking about the challenges of peer review, we have to know the meaning of peer review. Peer review is a process in which experts in a specific field evaluate a research article to assess its validity, originality, and overall quality before publication. And there are many types of it. Today I will talk about three common types of peer review. Firstly, we have a single anonymized review. With a single anonymized peer review, the author does not know who the reviewers are. The anonymity allows reviewers to be honest without a fear of criticism from an author. However, knowing the author's identity may influence judgment, leading to a less critical review, especially if the author has an impressive reputation. Second one, we have double and triple anonymized review. The reviewers don't know the identity of authors, and vice versa. This is the most common form of peer review amongst social science and humanities journals. In a triple anonymized peer review, the identities of authors, editors, reviewers are hidden. So the research will be judged fairly, keeping bias out of equation. But the anonymity also isn't guaranteed. It can be quite easy to find out who the author is because of, for example, the area of research, the references, or the writing styles. The third one, open peer review. With open peer review, the identities of authors and the reviewers are known by all participants. There is a growing minority of journals using this form of peer review, but popularity among reviewers is yet to be proven. It encourages accountability and civility, generally improving overall quality of the review and article. However, on the other hand, some reviewers might refuse to review for a journal using an open system due to many concerns, for example, about being identified as a source of a negative review, or reviewers could be reluctant to criticize the work of more senior researchers, especially if their career depends on them. Now we will pass to the 5C of ethical peer review. Firstly, we have the conflict of interest. In the conflict of interest (COI), The reviewers and editors must disclose any affiliation, collaboration, financial ties, or personal biases that could sway judgment. Secondly, we have confidentiality. Manuscripts' contents are strictly confidential until publication. Reviewers may not share and discuss or use unpublished data of personal research. The third one, credits, which recognize the contributions of all who participate in the review process. Then we have constructive criticism. The reviews should focus on methodological rigor and scientific merits, offering a clear, actionable suggestion for improvement. So rejecting rivals' work through unfair demands or hostile language is unethical. And the last one, we have courtesy. Courtesy means giving respectful and professional feedback. Reviews should be polite and clear without personal attacks. Helpful comments on grammar, clarity, or structure. Support editors and create a welcoming publishing environment. Now we move on to the challenges of peer review. There are many challenges of peer review. Firstly, we have time consuming. It's one of the main challenges of peer review. When the reviewers need to be careful, you need to carefully read and evaluate a manuscript, which can be time consuming, particularly for busy researchers who have other responsibilities. Second one, potential for bias. Peer review may bring their own biases and perspectives to the review process. The reviewers may be more critical of research that does not align with their own views, or they may be more favorable to research conducted by colleagues or collaborators. The third one, limited feedback. Another challenges of peer review, which may focus primarily on identifying. Generally, the reviewers may focus primarily on identifying flaws or potential problems with a manuscript, rather than providing constructive feedback on how the research could improve. And the last challenges of peer review that I want to talk today, it's the limited diversity. Research has shown that peer review process may be biased against women, minorities, and researchers from developing countries. This can limit the diversity of perspectives and ideas that are published in scientific journals. Now we've reached the conclusion. Peer review is both central to scientific progress. However, it faces many challenges. We can address these problems by eliminating unnecessary reviewing, simplifying the peer review process, introducing author rabbit holes, and enforcing the relationship between submitting and reviewing. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Belqasem Firdaus, for this insightful presentation.
You are welcome.
Now let's move to Professor Mohammed Mutalia. Could you speak now? Do you use your mic?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So I think you can hear me well now.
Yeah.
So
upload up
Yes,
here.
thank you so much, Mr. Hmad, and I excuse for the like the technical issues that I had earlier.
No, no
So
problem. So
yeah, first of all,
before you start, do you have a PowerPoint presentation?
yeah, sure, I have a PowerPoint presentation.
So you can upload it in the platform.
Yeah, I'm going to show my screen. Does this work?
Yeah, it works. It works.
Okay.
You are using an online presentation. That works well
Yeah.
as well. So
Can I?
before that, I need to present you, Professor Mohammed. Professor
Sure.
Mohammed, an emerging scholar in applied linguistics, persuading. Yeah. So here, where is the presentation? Well, there is a problem here. So please, Professor Mohammed, you can present yourself.
Yeah, sure, I can.
Yeah.
So my name is Mohammed Motaleh, and I'm a teacher of English and a PhD researcher in intercultural communication and global citizenship. So first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. Once I saw the theme of this conference, I was very excited to participate, and it's really an honor to be here among these scholars and professors from different universities. And as one of my professors used to say, it's very hard to be the last or among the last one to speak because you almost have nothing left to say. And that's exactly the case with me here because most of what I'm going to say have been mentioned by honorable speakers before. But it's okay. There is no problem in repeating some very beneficial information, and just for the kind of not for the kind of repetition, but for the kind for benefiting and understanding clearly each concepts individually. So I'm going to present my my screen. I'm going to share my screen right now. So can you see my screen, Dr. Hmad?
Just a minute. Yes, it is. Here it is. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm going to start with some quotes that I have seen very inspirational. To start with, peer review is the guardian of scientific truth, but its strength depends on the integrity of those who wield it. This was adapted from COPE guidelines, and as it's obvious from this quote, it's very important to have some people who are trustworthy, who are in charge of the peer review process. Another one says, ethics is the soul of science. Without it, peer review becomes hollow ritual. So to move directly to my presentation, the definition have already been presented, so I'm just going to read what I have in the slide here. So peer review as a quality check process where experts evaluate research before publication, just to ensure accuracy, validity, and credibility of science. So that's the definition and also the reason behind conducting this process. And the question is, why does it matter? Why do we have to have this kind of review and this kind of people who are reviewing and doing all this work? So just to build, first of all, to build trust in published work, we shouldn't trust anything that is written and published, but we need something which is trustworthy and scientifically based. And also to prevent harms from fraudulent science. An example was like a study which was retracted by the Lancet, and it was about COVID-19 in 2020 due to some unreliable data. So if we don't have this kind of review, this kind of process check-in, so we would have now people who are trusting this kind of studies and thinking that they are 100% correct just because they are online. Some key challenges which have already been mentioned, of course. So I'm just going to mention them quickly. So first of all, we have conflicts of interests. When we have, for example, a reviewer rejecting a paper to suppress competition, confidentiality breaches, so when the reviewer is sharing unpublished data without permission, and authorship disputes, and also plagiarism and fabrication. For conflicts of interest, I'm quoting one of the studies that have mentioned this. So it says that many participants suggested that community members may be more inclined to participate in a study if approached by a known peer. So, however, care needs to be taken to ensure that the likelihood of correction is limited. It may be appropriate to have someone who is more at arm's length walk through consent procedures and data collection. Moving to confidentiality breaches, it's always an issue in research. Peer researchers, like all staff with access to private information, need support and training to adapt careful protocols around privacy and confidentiality. The next one is authorship disputes, which have been clearly explained by the previous speakers, which has to do with some ethical violations in this process, and it excludes some individuals who made significant contributions. And the reason why is to hide industry involvement, for example, pharma-funded writers, or inflate a senior researcher's role. And its impact is misleads readers about who conduct the work. The next one, one of the aspects of authorship is gift or guest authorship. It's including non-contributors. For example, someone who has nothing to do with the study is mentioned in the study. The reason why is for hierarchical pressure, favored exchanges, or to boost publication counts. So some people just like to have many articles being published, and whenever there is someone who is working on an article, so they ask them to mention their name, for example, even if they haven't contributed in the study with anything. And the impact of this issue is it dilutes credit for actual contributors and distorts academic merits. Disputes over author order. What conflicts about who should be first or last author? Why? Because ambiguity in contribution levels or institutional politics, and the impact is it can delay publications and create conflicts. One of the main or pitfalls in peer reviewing is plagiarism and fabrication, which refers to the act of presenting someone else's work or ideas as one's own. So it's very clear, plagiarism as a common pitfall in peer reviewing. The Committee on Publication Ethics scope has defined plagiarism as the unreferenced use of authors' published and unpublished ideas. It can take various forms, including direct copying, paraphrasing without proper citation, and self-plagiarism, where an author refuses significant portions of their previously published work without appropriate acknowledgement. Why it's a problem? All of these common pitfalls, not only plagiarism, because they breach trust in scientific integrity, increasingly common, often unintentional due to pressure to publish or perish, language barriers. So, for example, when we have non-native speakers or non-native English speakers, so who are working on a study, so they may find like issues when they are trying to transfer other people's ideas in their studies. So they think that ideas are their own. So they don't remember taking notes, for example. So they just start improvising and writing without considering any citation, which is also another aspect when it comes to writing. So also another reason why is when we have this easy access to digital content, or what we call copy-paste culture. So whenever we find something, we just try copy it and paste it without considering citation or without considering any self-training in the known like schools of publishing, like the APA or the MLA or the Chicago Manual system for citation. Now, let's talk and see how we can prevent these issues from happening. When it comes to the researcher, we have to be, as I mentioned, well-trained when it comes to citing other people's work using even MLA, APA, or other systems of citation depending on the field of work of the researcher. Use reference managers. So whenever we are like doing like a literature review, we don't have to just to read for the sake of reading. Whenever we read something new, we should note it down and write the source from where we have taken these type of ideas. Why? Because when we try to start writing, we think that the ideas are ours, forgetting that we have already read them somewhere else. So whenever we read something, we have to take notes of its source, and also to paraphrase. Okay. Now for journals and institutions. So how they can prevent these issues, especially when it comes to plagiarism. So for journals and institutions, they can use. We have like many platforms or systems for detecting this kind of issues, even if it's plagiarism or AI writing or whatever it is. So we have some examples here like Turnitin and Authenticate, and also promote ethical culture. Whenever we have this kind of like issues, it's very beneficial to have this kind of conference, for example, or other events which focus on the ethics of publishing and of academic writing, which are honesty, respect for intellectual property, and so on and so forth. In a guide for manuscript reviewers by Rockwell 2024, he mentioned some very nice ideas when it comes to peer reviewing. So even if it's for the researcher who wants to publish their work, or for the editor, and also for the journal. So focus on science, prioritize evaluating methodology, data validity, and significance over minor edits. So the ideal reviewer is a researcher who is working in the same discipline. So here we are talking about someone who reviews something which is related to their field of work. So we cannot have an article reviewed by someone who is working on a completely different field of research than our own. So this is a very important aspect when it comes to peer review. We shouldn't have the articles or whatever it is being validated or reviewed by someone who has nothing to do with the field of research. Next, the journal fit. It assesses whether the paper aligns with the journal's scope and standards. So, for example, if you want to publish an article and you access their web page and you find their interests, what this journal is interested in. And if you have something which is related to the journal, if you have something which has to do with the journal, then you can submit your article for review. Otherwise, you cannot. Next, we can talk about ethical concerns, like issues like missing IRB approval, plagiarism, or data fabrication discreetly to editors. Writing the review. Here, we need a constructive tone to avoid rudeness. Critique should be collegial and evidence-based. So this is for the reviewer of the article. When they are writing the review for the researcher, they have to avoid rudeness and they have to be logical in their writing and being academic 100%. And critique should be collegial and evidence-based. Whenever they mention a problem, they provide examples. This is why your paper is rejected, for example, or this is why we have targeted this kind of issues. Mentorship guides authors to improve their work, citing relevant literature. Here we talk about post-review responsibilities. So this is after the review. We have first confidentiality, which destroy manuscript copies and keep review details private. Okay, this is very important, privacy. And post-publication discuss only the final version, not the reviewed draft. So reviewers must navigate ethical challenges at every stage. Open dialogue with editors and adherence to scientific integrity are essential. High-quality reviews uphold both ethical and academic standards. Here, to conclude with, I have mentioned some practices for authors, reviewers, and editors. To start with, let's talk about authors' best practices. So to start with, we have to mention the common or the common pitfalls that we have in peer review. For authors, they have to credit all contributors fairly. Here, when we talk about authorship, okay, and disclose conflicts, funding sources, and cite properly to avoid plagiarism. When we talk about plagiarism, whenever you mention something, if it's not yours, please cite it. And what they have to avoid is self-slicing, which is splitting one study into multiple papers, which have been mentioned by some of the speakers before. So you have, for example, a PhD research or MA research, and you divided it into like slices, and you start publishing different articles from the researcher, being considering it just one research or various researchers. For reviewers, they have to stay impartial and declare conflicts if they are any. Provide constructive feedback and meet deadlines. This is very important for reviewers. They have to be very academic, even if when it comes to writing the review, they have to be constructive, and as we have mentioned before, and also to meet the deadlines. This gives high trust for the journals at all. And what to avoid: sabotaging competitors' work and unnecessary delays. So the reviewer here is considered as not the as I have found in an article, the reviewer is not the friend of the researcher, but he works for the journal. So they have to be very very academic, very administrative, and forget about any subjectivity. Let's talk about some practice for editors. What they have to do is to follow COPE guidelines for ethical disputes and ensure diverse reviewer selection to reduce bias. So just as an example, COPE's flowchart for handling suspected plagiarism. So in this guideline, we find this flowchart for handling suspected plagiarism, and also we find the process of peer review and many other beneficial things, so which have to be reviewed by all of the editors, researcher, and also the reviewer. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Mottaleh, for sharing with us this insightful ideas and helpful presentation. Now, I think Dr. Ibtisam still has the same problem. So let's move to the discussion. I suggest that you as presenters share your questions. If you have a question to another person, for example, Dr. Da is still with us, so you can ask if you have any questions to our speakers. Dr. Da Amran. We have a question that was written by Mr. Abdelnabi bin Abu, who says, what are the measures usually and legally taken by the university administration when they detect flagrant academic fraud? I think this question was answered by Dr. Dua while delivering our presentation, but we can discuss this again. Any answer?
Yes, Hmad.
Yeah. Floor is yours, Mr. Haddawi.
I think, well, when there is a flagrant detection of flagrant fraud, in a student's work. I think that stain on their personal reputation and also on the institution they belong to, the department, the faculty, and the university. And I think universities may take different measures, maybe from granting failing grades or suspending the student for a set period, or they may resort to expulsion. So we cannot overgeneralize about the policies of faculties and universities. There could be differences in dealing with such fraudulent behaviors. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Haddawi. Yes, Professor Al-Qasim Firdaus.
Yeah, I want to say that the measures depend on the severity. For example, if we have minor offenses, the warning letter, or for example, reducing grade or doing the assignment or the C's will be sufficient. But when we have flagrant offenses, the university must consider the academic probation or suspension or expulsion. So they will. So no one will try to doing this act again. Do you hear me?
Thank you.
Don't you English? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Dua Amran,
Yes.
any addition or explanation?
Well, what the university should do, it differs from one university to another. Because many universities in the MENA region would have their own journals, and staff members or faculty would be publishing in the journal of their own institution. So it becomes really tricky when it comes to knowing for sure, because I've seen this, the person whose work was stolen would go and report to the university where that person is hired, and then the university won't take any action, because are the university gonna retract an article in its own journal that's published by one of its faculty members? So I think this is something that we need to think about for the future, publishing works by, someone already hired in the university. What if the work is not their own? Do they really review the work honestly? And many of our colleagues today talked about peer reviewing. How does it go when we peer review the work of someone that we really know closely and work closely and get to meet multiple days of the week? I think in the MENA region, we have big issues with publications. And I'm going to share the link here with you, please, if you'd like to look at it. Of the universities and in which area they fall into the red, the orange, or the yellow categories. So if you click on the link I just shared in the chat and go to just under the table which has the 4 colors, you'll see what's going on with our universities in the global south. So I just in short, I think our departments are not taking rigorous measures with fraudulent behaviors.
Thank you, Professor Dua. Professor Haddawi, you have been talking about this relationship between stakeholders or stakeholder power imbalance Do you have any recommendations or do you think that we need to redesign peer review systems to create more equitable relationships between authors, reviewers, and editors?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, Hmad. I think, reaching that is, maybe could be a far-fetched idea, given that human beings are involved there, and the idea of morals, of ethics, of bias, of prejudice and stereotypes. It's always about the input. We're talking about the input, the output, and blaming the output, or trying to focus on how to clean and cleanse, output practices. But at the end of the day, it is, related to human practices, and I think that at the undergraduate level, at universities, some moral education should be introduced first to undergraduates, and then after for master students studying, for example, research methodology, there should be part of the module on ethics, on COPE guidelines, using COPE as a Bible to guide future researchers. And also, I think that it is important to remind editors that good work, ethical work, yields good results, and promotes academic publishing, and enhances integrity, and allows for quality research. This is very important, and I mentioned during my presentation that we need to compensate peer reviewers. Should be some compensation. It could be financial and otherwise. Financial, monetary compensations would help, and it would encourage them to do their work, so they would feel incentivized. And also there could be other things like granting them kind of academic badges or some other benefits in the field of academia in general. They should, their work should be valued. It should be taken into consideration, and people should know that it's not easy work to do. So given the fact that they got piles of work to do, so they got a lot of things to do. Sometimes they could be receiving piles of manuscripts to deal with, and you have authors, students, for example, PhD students are in a hurry to get responses, acceptation of their manuscripts and their publication. So we have this idea of balancing the things and the relationships. So it's no easy thing, actually, but with the collaboration of main stakeholders, the research practice in general could be enhanced. It should be the responsibility and the moral obligation of all the main stakeholders. Back to you, Samah.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for your great ideas. Here is a question that is addressed to all speakers. Given your experience in, for example, Moroccan education or with Moroccan researchers, Qasmi with Algerians, Dr. Dua, Americans or Egyptian or Arabs from the MENA region as well. Mr. Muttalea, your experience with researchers in the MENA region, Morocco, don't you think that there are differences or cultural differences that that requires using different ethical guidelines or the different research ethics that should be addressing scientific research in each specific country or its context. So, do you have any ideas to enrich this discussion about this universal ethical considerations that should researchers take into consideration?
Yes, hello again. So, can you hear me first?
Yeah, we heard you. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for this question and for addressing this question to me. Just to put in your knowledge, I'm just like first year PhD researcher and a high school teacher in the mountain area of Azilal in Morocco. But according to like let's say my experience, I would say, universally speaking, we need something which unite this kind of work when it comes to peer reviewing. However, there is no harm in having something specific to each culture, because we tend to find sometimes that maybe I'm really not sure of this, but not all people, not all cultures have this idea of copy and paste culture, for example. So whenever we have this issue a lot in some countries, so we need to do something about it and to take some actions in order to solve these problems. Because especially with the emergence of AI and ChatGPT, now information are easily accessed to, and if you want something which is reliable and original, you need it from people who are trustworthy and who rely on themselves to try to make something original, or at least cite or give credit whenever they take something from, even if they take it from AI itself. AI now is a great resource which should be given credit whenever it is used. And it shouldn't be used as, let's say, it should be used just as a tool and not like, let's say, as an ending. It's not something which is which should control us as researchers, but we should use it just as a tool. It's the same way we are using Word document, Excel, presentation, PowerPoint, Microsoft. We should use also AI. That is, we don't have to ask them to generate ideas for us. Maybe sometimes when you are facing some kind of issues when it comes to language, considering that we are not native speakers, there is no harm in seeking help from these tools. But anyway, you have to credit and cite everything that you use during your research. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muttale. Thank you.
Yes, Ahmed?
Yeah,
Yes,
Mr.
Ahmed, if you allow me, just like to build on what my colleague and friend panelist C. Muttale has just said. So go back to this idea of universalism, in culture versus culture-specific stuff. I think if you read COPE, the Committee on Publication Ethics, it is about universal values. So when you talk, for example, about integrity, about credibility, about validity, right? So these are universal values that people, or most people from all over the world, would agree on. Copying, as my friend said, C. Muttale said, copying from someone else work without referencing or without paying credit to that. So is a kind of a heinous act. It's a heinous act wherever you go. That's robbery. That's stealing from others. So, but sometimes there could be some issues with the idea of guest authorship, like in MENA cultures, for example. we tend to value this idea of collectivism and cooperation and solidarity, but we need to kind of draw a demarcation line between helping, cooperating, and expressing solidarity, and between actually participating in work. Contributing to some work. Yes, I'd like to help you, but you need to contribute something to the study. So, and of course, if you do that, we will have you as a guest author. There is no harm. But sometimes it's because of culture. Some people feel embarrassed somehow, and they would accept. So cultures vary, to some extent, but still we can rely on what is common, what is universal, and we should be teaching the new generations on this idea of what does it take to belong to a scientific community. It's a community, so it's like joining a club or an association or an organization. It has its own ethics, and we have to abide by those ethics in order to be an efficient member of that entity. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hidawi.
I have some.
Yeah.
So actually, this is happening, I know, in many parts of the Arab world now. Many universities, governmental universities, are trying to get accreditation. Is this happening in Morocco, and Algeria, where universities are trying to get accreditation? So if you want to get accreditation from the West somehow, because we get or from our own institutions, then we need to think about our publishing and peer reviewing ethics differently. This is the first thing. Second thing, now when we live in a village, the world has become a village connected by the internet, so the idea of societies having different ethics, and as Dr. Haddawi was saying, looking for universal grounds. And I don't know, coming from a culture that says man ghashana falaysa minna, what could be we actually have it there, but you need to make people think of intellectual property as property. It's not always about stealing money, because stealing ideas is somehow, it is like stealing something abstract. It's not something tangible. So I think we have it there, but we need to highlight it. And we need to highlight it to the undergrads, so they grow up and graduate and become and do their MAs and PhDs and become professors, with the idea of plagiarism as a kind of stealing. Here I teach I teach a lot of freshman writing classes here, and we talk about plagiarism all the time. But when I was doing my undergraduate degree in Egypt 20 years ago, nobody really talked about plagiarism. I'm not sure how things are there right now, but I think there should be more awareness to teach it to our students in our freshman writing courses. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Da. Professor Belqasmi, Firdaus, if you have any ideas related to this question. So do you have any further idea that you want to share with us, for all speakers? Do you have any question or any additional information that you want to share with the audience? Okay, so Dr. Samah, Hida, you can. Dr. Samah, do you hear us?
Conclude.
Yeah, we need to conclude the.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you you can end this
Okay.
conference.
Okay, as we come to the end of this rich and inspiring conference, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the speakers, organizers, and the participants. Your contributions have made this event truly meaningful. One key takeaway from today's discussions is that AI is not only changing how to write and publish, but also challenging us to protect the values of honesty, quality, and academic integrity. Staying informed, ethical, and responsible is more important than ever. Thank you all once again for being a part of this event. I hope to see you in future academic events. Until then, keep sharing knowledge. Goodbye and best wishes to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Samah. Professor Haddawi, any final words?
Well, Hmad, thank you for moderating this discussion. Special thanks to the panelists and the Bitlisaniyat staff. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You are always welcome to share with us your research and findings. Dr. Amran.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm so happy that I listened to the talks of my colleagues. I learned a lot from them. And I think, we are all meeting on this common grounds that, there is more work to be done in our regions. I know that Dr. Samah is located in the US, but even if whether we are teaching in the Arab world or in the Middle East or abroad, we all share the same ethics as scholars. And I hope one day, at least for my part, to bring what I learned from here to my home region. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor, for accepting our invitation and sharing your rational and insightful ideas. It's a great pleasure to have you with us, and you are always welcome to share with us or more ideas, or why not to deliver a lecture within our series of scientific events. Professor Bilqasim Firdaus, any final words?
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here with you, and inshallah, for the next conferences, inshallah.
Inshallah.
That's all.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Professor Firdaus is from Algeria, Professor Mohammed Haddawi, Morocco. Professor Mohammed Mutali, any final words?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Just a special thanks to Bitlisaniyat and to the coordinators for creating this space to discuss such critical issues. I just want to say that researchers, reviewers, and editors are like the guardians of integrity in our shared pursuit of knowledge. So thank you for your commitment to making science more transparent, credible, and collaborative. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Muttaleh, for your words. You are always welcome to participate with us. Thank you, Dr. Samah, for coordinating and helping us in organizing this event.
Thank you, my dear.
I want to thank also the organizing team, the technical team, and also the Academy's leadership. So it's to our participants, thank you for engaging with us and the live chat. We hope to see you, inshallah, in the future scientific events. Thank you so much for your engagement. So have a good night. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahmat.
You're welcome.
Thank you.